T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. Welcome to the Trap Talk Podcast. I'm your boy MJ. What is good? Happy Sunday and welcome to the Holy Crested Gecko Sessions. Oh my gosh, it's about to go down. This is your first time tapping in. Do your boy a favor. Hit that like button, drop a comment. More importantly, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That way you're not slept on any podcast I drop here on this channel. I drop at least 4 podcasts a week. I'm the hardest grinder in the podcasting reptile game. I'm telling you right now, ain't nobody touching me. So if you really are into animals, keeping, breeding, any of that, this is the right place to be. So make sure you hit that notification bell. And you never know what guests I'm going to bring to this show. So I want to say shout out to all my subscribers out there, man. If this is your returning episode, thank you so much. I appreciate your loyalty. Basically, you're spending your life with me, and that means a lot. Appreciate that so much. I do want to say, if you're looking for exclusive content, if you're looking for more behind the scenes of what's happening here with this podcast, best thing you can do is go down to the link, first, very top link, join the Trap Talk Patreon family. There you could actually join the Discord, taps you in with over 125 trappers, my damn familia right there. But really, man, if you really want to talk about networking and growing and making the right moves, that Patreon page is the right place to be, man. And on top of all that, not only if you're growing, it actually helps me push this podcast to further goals like what I have, man. I'm trying to take this thing to the top. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be untouchable on this shit. But either way, just by you here being here watching, I want to say thank you so much. Appreciate all the love and support, but it's going to be a great episode. It's going to be a great episode indeed. I want to say shout out to all the early birds. I see you guys there. I do want to say that this episode is brought to you by, give me a second. There it is. Nope. Sorry. Alan was last time. Shout out to the Focus Cube Habitats, #1 PVC built enclosures in the game, Flex in Texas, all day, every day. What is behind me is all Focus Cube, all day, every day. I want to say shout out to Steven, shout out to Ashley. Appreciate you guys so much for making this damn dreamy room for me to walk into every single morning. You know, this is it. This is my therapy room. And it's only going to get sicker. I'm telling you right now. Just did a little bit of rearrangement. So I got more for at least, 6 more Focus Cubes. Let's go. But guys, please head over to Instagram. Go give them a follow. They are doing big things, major collaborations. People with like the mayor of Chondrotown, Bill Stiegel, and then also Canova. And then, like I said, me. They're fucking with me, man. I'm telling you, they're fucking with only the best. I love Focus Cube Habitats. Thank you so much, Stephen, Ashley. Appreciate your love and support. Want to say, who the hell is here in the super chats? Speaking of super chat, if you want to have an important question, topic, whatever, you got something you want to get over to this guest, Flawless Geckos, you need to go ahead and send a super chat. Send a super chat. I'll display it on the big screen, and it's a win-win for both of us, okay? So don't be shy with the super chats. Let's get the super chats going. What is good? What early birds are here in the building? I had to bust out my laptop while this is up because my damn mouse, battery died. Literally, that's why I kind of lagged on this live starting right on time. But what is good? Spectro7, thanks for tapping in. Hope you're ready for a good show. Look at this. The homie Jersey Guy Balls, Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Thanks for tapping in, player. Nasarg, what is up, player? Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Thanks for tapping in. The homie Blantman, Reptiles, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. Wise Guys, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. Celtic Reptiles, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. Runyon Reptiles, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Sunshine State Reptiles, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. MKB Reptiles, what is good? Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Thank you so much. The homie Silver Cash in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. The homie Julio Fulio in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. The homie Nate Dogg in the building. What is up, player? Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. What up, Frank? Hold on, let me see this. Frank Duff, Tank. I'm an idiot. Frank the Tank. My bad, dog. I like how you spelt that. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't never seen spelt like that before. I like that. Frank the Tank. And that's definitely one of my favorite characters in any movie for sure. 843 Exotics, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. Derek Pides, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Is a big homie right there. Go give him a follow. Working with big snakes. JKJ Reptiles in the building. What is up, player? Thanks for tapping in. Joshua Stover, what is up? Joshua, thanks for tapping in. The homie Blacklist Exotics Trap Talk Patreon members all day, every day. I love it. Let's see who else is here. Blackburn Exotics, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. And let's end it with Safe Haven Care and Quality. What is up, Safe Haven? Damn, it's been a while since I had a gecko breeder on the show. I'm not even gonna lie. 2 at that. I love the couples. I love, you understand. It's awesome when you're able to create an empire and you're you're doing it solo dolo. But let's be real. When you got somebody on your side literally trying to ride this dream out with you, make things not only easier, but it's just fun to share your accomplishments with somebody, right? Like, just, you gotta love it. Either way, I met this lovely couple at the Vegas show. As a lot of you guys heard, I mean, whatever, man. I don't know. I had a good time. Some people had other thoughts as far as how they did sales. But this couple was around people who weren't complaining about sales whatsoever. Let's just say that. Sales is, I'm talking about record-breaking sales from what I've seen at any show. Okay. I tapped in, happened to look, and they're associates of a gecko breeder who was at this show who sold over 400K in reptiles within 20 minutes of the doors opening. There's proof of the groups running to the tables and getting these. We're going to get in details of all this. But more importantly, they're tapped in. I'm not saying that they have $500,000, $400,000 geckos, but I'm just saying this is in the realm that they're associated with. And I need to know more about this. Okay. A lot of us ball python breeders think we're the, you know, I don't want to say like the fucking richest motherfuckers in the breeding game. I'm just telling you, it's just more than the ball pythons. I can tell you that right now. So we're going to learn about it. Hope you guys are ready for this shit, because this shit's about to be popping. We have Will and Audra, flawless geckos, coming right at you. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. It is fucking game time. Hope you guys are ready. Light it up if you got it. Gee.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it.
Oh, we live. What?
Yeah.
Good, flawless, crested geckos in the building.
Hi.
How you doing, man?
How
Man,
are you?
First off, you guys are just killing me with all these damn. I'm liking. You got so many points in my book. You know, here we're talking about a duo coming to the table, talking about something powerful in the game. But you guys are matching colors. I love red. Red is my favorite color. I'm telling you
That's
right now,
right.
everything is going accordingly. I appreciate this so much. But how's everything going on your guys' end? First and foremost, Will and my God, I already chopped up your name. Audra.
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 You had it right.
I had it right. Even Audra. I'm so sorry. Audra. For the people who don't know where you guys are located in the country, where you guys reside at, where you guys living at?
We are in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Wow. Okay. And both you guys born and raised there or no?
Nope.
No, absolutely not. I'm from Newark, New Jersey, so I'm from up north.
Yeah.
Jersey boy. Okay. And then Audra, where you from?
I'm actually from North Carolina, which is just about 45 minutes from Spartanburg. So I'm just right over the state line.
And what made you guys meet? How did you guys meet?
Actually, we got a crazy life story, but ultimately, I'm a professional bodybuilder and personal trainer, and we ended up meeting in the gym.
The gym. Mm-hmm.
Nice. I met my wife at the gym. I don't know if you guys heard. It's been a while since I said this story, but basically, long story short, I was running a gym. She was in a training program, to become a new trainer. So they were getting her feet wet in the gym. So as soon as she became a trainer, I already had a crush on her and whatnot. And I'm the one that sold all the personal training. So I got all the personal training. I got to assign the trainers. And so I just stacked her up. You know what I'm saying? And she was just like, oh my God. No, any new trainer, I'm sure you know how it goes. No new trainer gets laid out clients like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I just, and people loved her. So she did really well, but that's how I got that, man. I'm not gonna lie. It was, God bless the fitness industry. That's all I got to say. But man, so how are you guys doing as far as the projects you guys are invested with? And first off, before we actually get into that, what made you guys even want to go this route? Like, when was the turning point when you guys were like, hey, maybe we should do these reptiles for a business or even start a brand? When was that something you guys thought of?
We started, I guess, investigating and researching different things. I purchased 4 geckos for our children. We have 4 kids 6 years ago, and everything I purchased right from Petco and brought them home.
Wow.
And enclosure, everything, and all the information they gave me at the pet store was wrong. Everything, down to feeding routine, husbandry, everything. They had us keeping all of them together, juvenile size, all of them together in one small enclosure, feeding them crickets every day. The more research I did on them, it just led us down this rabbit hole. We started seeing the different morphs and genes and colors and different people working with the projects in the hobby. And we just literally started ordering several geckos every month. And so how easy it was to take care of them. And then it just exploded when we started seeing what they were working on in the UK, lily whites, xanthics.
Yes, it just was like a snowball effect, especially when we came across the xanthics. We had been buying from Brian Butler, who owns Altitude Exotics, who you mentioned in your intro.
Right. Shout out to Brian.
Yeah, he's awesome. Just absolutely phenomenal dude. Like, he's our brother, our chosen brother now. But Will sent me a link to an xanthic on his site, and it was list priced at $9,999.
Yeah.
And I was like,
6 years ago.
Yeah, this was 6 years ago. So I was like, Will, who in their right mind is going to spend 10 grand on a lizard? Yeah. and so as I started more and more of that research, because I definitely wasn't into them until him, but as I started more and more research, the following year, I guess you would say, is when I said, you know what, I think we should do that. Right. So we ended up with a visual female and 100% het male, and man, it was just amazing. Like, it just changed our freaking lives. Like,
absolutely,
it's amazing.
I got something I don't want to skip on. We're going to get into that topic real quick, as far as what influenced you, or what was it, or who you were hanging out with that made you finally say, fuck it, I need to invest in these high designer geckos. But there's so many things, and I mean, we could go on about how the main corporations like Petco and PetSmart are fucking so terrible. And I feel like one of the biggest reasons behind the lack of training for their employees, like, do you really think Petco, like, think about this, a place that doesn't support US ARC, never fucking cares. Do you think these places give 2 shits about these customers taking these animals home and keeping them alive? They don't want that. They want the exact opposite. They want this damn animal to stay alive for like maybe 3-6 months, a year at the most, but they want this parent to come back, like a cycle, get another one. You know what I mean? Buy another one, buy another one, buy another one. Because if you really think about it, I worked for Verizon. I worked for Verizon a long time ago, and Verizon Wireless at the time, when I got hired, this is like 2006, they were the only wireless company at that time who had like thousands of dollars put into their training programs. Like if you got hired at Verizon, you had to go through like not 6 months. How many months? It was like 2 months or 3 months of like some fucking like crazy textbooks training. You know what I mean? And if you really think about Verizon, I mean, yeah, there's other companies out there, but Verizon's been Verizon for a minute. Verizon's done, they put money. So think about why none of these goddamn fucking companies like Petco, these big Petco, don't even put training for the employees. So like, because if you think about it, it's not that fucking hard to take care of a reptile. It's very simple, straightforward care. It's about not overheating them. It's about not cooking them and drying them out. Like there's just simple things that you should teach each person before buying an animal. And it's like, it couldn't take much more than maybe 2-3 weeks of training, like sitting down, come down, take notes. Think about that. How many of us keepers have had to hire somebody like on the whim and like kind of show them what to do? Like we don't have the money or resources to sit them down. Here's a book. Fucking let's take notes. Like Petco has that kind of money where they could give them that kind of training, but it would never happen. They don't care. So I hope anyone out there who shops at Petco or believes in getting reptiles at Petco and just stumbles across this podcast is wondering, why do you go to Petco? What's so bad about Petco? That's what's bad about Petco. They don't want you to keep these animals alive. So I just want to make that clear. That just dawned on me when you just said that everything you started off with was at Petco. All the information you got was the exact wrong thing that you should do, which for the most part, either you keep buying for them or some people just give up and say, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want fucking things to die. And then we lose somebody, you know what I mean? Altogether. Yeah. So anyways, I didn't mean to go on that rant.
No, it's a worthy rant for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get back to business. I'm curious now, what was it and who was it that was really starting to either follow or just talk to or just kind of put themselves in the environment of these high desire crested geckos where you felt comfortable enough to say, let's do it?
Well, we've been doing it as pretty much a relationship as a group this entire time, as a couple.
We're a group.
And what ended up happening was every time we jump into something, we go 100%. We don't kind of half-ass anything that we do. That being said, the more and more research we did into these guys and saw how easy it was as far as the husbandry, we started literally trying to educate ourselves on the different genes, the genetics involved, and the morphs. The more and more we followed that, we started discovering the lily whites, the newer stuff back then, and the Xanthics. Everything that was newer was rather very, very hefty as far as expensive. Yeah. We dove down that rabbit hole and started purchasing just sheerly off of enjoyment.
Yeah, it was just collect this and collect that and collect this.
By the end of the first year, we probably had close to 100 geckos. We were literally ordering 4 and 5 geckos from different gecko breeders in the industry, actually, in the hobby, from all over the Facebook groups, Instagram. Morph Market wasn't around yet, but we were just literally ordering from everyone.
Yeah, I think one of my biggest influences as far as that was concerned, was Donna from Crimson Cresties.
Yes.
Like she was a really big, she was influential to me specifically. She's what actually made me fall in love with crested geckos and lily whites specifically.
Correct.
So yeah, I've modeled actually a lot of my lily whites after one of hers. So just like chasing the different ones.
And in business, so we started looking at, all right, a lot of this different genes and stuff, you want to go to the source. So that's when we contacted Lily Exotics, and we imported a bunch of lily whites and directly from them and started working with them. Then we got our Fish and Wildlife license, LLC, our business name, Flawless, and just started grinding. Yep. We didn't really sell anything at all for the first year and a half. And that's when we started rolling into a little bit of the business mindset. We've had previous businesses and ran them successfully. So we know it's a lot dealing with marketing and advertisement.
It's all about the brand.
Yeah, all about the brand. So you get those logos, you pound those logos on a daily basis and make sure that you're in front of everyone's faces constantly. You know, we talked all the time. We've been together forever, but we had a business conversation beforehand. And the direction things need to go, we tell our followers as well as our subscribers on Patreon and everything. Everything needs to be about business on the business side. Care for your animals, love your animals. But when you make it out of the hobby and into the business, you have to come to an understanding, you know, and we joke about it now because we get along great, but your customers and potential customers do not care if you're arguing with your significant other.
No.
They do not care if you broke up. They don't care.
They don't give a crap.
I mean, that should, that, like you said, there should be a fucking fine line in the sand where that's nobody's business, period. That diminishes your brand, if anything. If people are involved in your personal stuff, you're getting too. And here's another thing. So many people, man, like, dude, this reptile game brings you to people and you love them, man. And it's a beautiful thing. But then some people just feel like they should share so much with people and they should just give them all this stuff. And it's like, dude, at the end of the day, they don't care that much. I don't give a fuck how fun you're having at that show. I don't care what deal went down. Here, I'll hook you up. Any information you give them is ammunition. They are fucking like, oh, okay, well, tell me more about your issues. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, listen, my Aunt Laura, I don't really have a good relationship with her because she's just ruthless. She's what she is, you know. But she always told me, like, you know, at my job, if somebody asks you how your day's going and you're having the worst day at fucking home, say you're having the best day ever. Don't ever tell somebody you're having a bad day. Never. Because first off, they don't give a fuck. B, they might probe you to keep giving, like, oh, like, do you want to talk about it? You know what I'm saying? And that, like, I understand there's levels of getting stuff off your chest. First off, the workplace is never that. You leave that shit at the door. like any kind of workplace. Like, we're talking the business side of things right now, right? Now, you know, what happens here at my home, you know what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing. I have my wife to be personable with, you know what I mean? But that shit stops when I open up that trap door, when this podcast is happening, all that personal shit. You can't let it be shown on you because people will use that and it shows weakness. It really does show weakness. And I'm glad you brought that up because first off, there's people who feel like you want to hear this information and you're not even asking for it. You're just like, oh, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So I've been in that position and I simply just say, listen, it's not my department. I'm sorry. I don't like, I have to just say, I don't want to talk about this. Like I blatantly just tell people because not only that, our energy is everything nowadays. Like, let's think about it. I have a lot of energy, I feel like, but I must spend it wisely. I don't want to sit there listening. And not that I don't care about your problems, but what the fuck? I got my own problems. Like, I'm not going to sit here, drain that shit from you. That's draining. I want to put energy into you. You know what I'm saying? So, and listen, I'm not saying my own friends don't talk to me about their problems. You just got to pick those friends wisely. You got to be very smart. Yeah. And then, like I said, even your good, you know, I have a handful of good friends, but I don't always tell them all my problems. I don't go around and say, okay, who's next do I need to call? Because I got to share this info. It's not like that, you know, because you don't know what the other person's dealing with. Like, some people are so gangster at not sharing anything. Like, they're just like they don't share anything. And I feel like that's a dangerous thing. That you got to at least a little bit, like, you know what I mean? But some people are just like, nope, you can never read what's going on. And I mean, I have friends like that, and I'm like, God damn it! And they tell me like months later, oh, I went through this, and I'm like, what? Like, I had no fucking clue. And you know, I'm trying to get there someday. You know what I mean? Like,
it's hard because you know we both come from a police background as well.
Yeah,
you know,
we were both police officers.
10 years.
Hold on. You know, hey, listen, I want to give you another props right here. This is not. I've been doing a podcast for over 3 years now, and nobody does this. Nobody does this. You said one of the first things you did when you guys got going was get your fish and wildlife license. What the fuck, bro? No, that's like a last resort that people do after they get everything and they realize, oh shit, I got to do that. But you guys did that, like that was a part of the agenda, and that's because of what background are you again?
No, the thing is, I'm in law enforcement or previous law enforcement, but the thing is, make sure you guys get CPAs for your accounting and taxes and stuff, and then they'll run down things that you need in different lines. Ours was very familiar with what we were working in as far as the animal hobby, so we kind of knew ahead of time what we actually needed to go and pursue. And we actually went a little overkill as far as with like LLC, not really necessary with what we're doing, but it's just overkill. We could have did S Corp or it's another one. What's the other one?
Oh gosh,
not S Corp, the other corporation.
LLC. There's
no, it's S Corp, LLC, and then there's one more. There's something else, and it really doesn't.
Sole proprietorship.
Well,
that
there's
part,
partnership.
so we went LLC, which was overkill. But yeah, we just wanted to make sure we cross our T's and dotted our I's, especially when, you know, we're importer exporter, so we can bring things into the country as well as export. So we just wanted to make sure we were good.
We just want to cover all the bases. Like, we want it all to be straight on the table. Everything that we got going on. Everything.
We just
want it's legitimate business, and this is longevity. That creates longevity for businesses. You go in there and you try to short things, and you're not going to last. So,
well, I mean, there's so much power you could use when it comes to making money in a business, right? And if you're fucking and this talks about like needing stuff for the future, like, you know, if you're trying to make another facility and you have all this stuff documented and you're doing things right, you could literally apply for fucking anything and get it. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing things right. But what I like, what we're talking about right here is one of my biggest, you know, I'm here to say that, I mean, it's 50-50, man. Like, become a full-time reptile breeder, trying to tell somebody that it can sound like a triangle pyramid or a pyramid scheme in a way, but it all depends on how you are as an individual. Like, how hard are you going at marketing yourself? What are you doing other than breeding? Are you just sitting at home and posting shit and just hoping to sell snakes? Or are you out there going to shows, you out there grinding, you out there with podcasts and doing shit? And the thing is, it's so easy to go and apply for a business, but the tax shit is important. Like, that's like, you need those good habits right off the bat, because as you start making that real money, and you have these habits, it's going to be so easy for shit to get done. I'm telling you.
But it also it creates actually a standard. You know, you start drawing standard. See, everyone wants to go to path of least resistance. You know, you want that guaranteed money. You know, so if a job is spent, and there's nothing wrong with working a job. I want to make that perfectly clear. But we wanted to create some type of freedom for ourselves. I mean, we weren't spending any time together. I mean, our relationship was rough. It was strained, and now it's more stronger than ever.
Terrible.
But
it's terrible.
The taxes are actually there. You know, yes, everyone hates paying taxes. I get that. But the laws are there and in place for you to really make money. And it sounds crazy, but they're really there for you to make money. And, you know, and there's nothing wrong even with loans and things of that sort. But we're happy to be able to say we've even done this so far with no loans. You know, we actually started a secondary business where on that business, you know, we haven't made a dime off of, you know, Flawless is out of creations. But that being the sense, you know, speaking with your CPA and bouncing thoughts off your head, a lot of people never really think about the bottom dollar. They're worried about that money in their hand. You know, you give them $10,000 or they save $10,000. They put it in a savings account. And over the course of a year, the bank plays with that money and you may make $100, $125 across the year. But in a sense, it's like, all right, well, if you multiply that, say you got $100,000 or you made it from your business, you know, speak with your CPA on different things you need to purchase at the end of the year for your business. Ozzy talks about it a lot. We're a part of his Patreon as well, you know, and we did another business startup, invested that money into a whole nother business. Like I said, $175,000. But the thought process is this: do you put that money in the bank and then pay that 40% in tax to the federal government and give it away? Or do you do a business startup and get an entire another write-off for it and you don't pay that money? It's legitimately legal. Right. Like, you have to make sense. So we're saving money initially to pay the IRS.
Well, it's investing in yourself instead of investing in the system.
Exactly.
But the thing is, you know, as much as people complain about the whole tax thing, it's because you're not doing enough to understand how the game works. You just got to know how the game works, and it's not for anyone lazy. I'm telling you right now.
Oh no, it's definitely not.
And, you know, this is why a lot of people with just one business fail. You know, because you know, you never know where anything's going to take anything, right? When you got your hands dipped in so many multiple things, there's one thing. Shout out to Ozzy, man. Ozzy's somebody who I was in such a deep, depressed place in my life when I first came into this game, where all I wanted to do was get the fuck out of the job I was in. I didn't always.
We know the feeling.
I did have the pyramid scheme mentality, because I thought I could get these snakes off my boy Miguel. I could raise them up. I could breed them, and I'm gonna fucking just make money like he is, and I'll be straight. Like, that was my initial thought. And then I was able to start this podcast, and I had Ozzy on, I think, as my third or fourth guest. And he told me, like, you know, like, the snakes is like a percentage of what he has going on in his life. It's not even the main thing. It's not even his fucking, like, you know, like, I wake up, it's all about snakes. Not that he doesn't care all about snakes. I really don't know, but he's so many different things that he has his hands tapped in. And if
That's
you
right.
want to talk about how he's respected in the snake game, the financial game, he has a whole nother level of respect. Like, this motherfucker knows what he's doing. And so that opened my eyes. Like, dude, you need to, like, it's not about just trying to bank out in the game, snake game. It's about banking out and figuring out what to do with that money to the next step. You know what I'm saying? And just having multiple streams, man. Like, you can't just rely on one stream. I don't care where you're at, where you live. You could be a hillbilly, live in your mom's basement. You don't know. Mom could die. God bless. I hope that doesn't happen. I'm just saying things could happen. You could be forced out of that basement, and you just got to fucking find a way to have business maturity. And that's not easy for people to do. There's people who've literally, because bro, there's people who've been making money off reptiles for a long time, bro. Like, even before it got popular. And there's not much. I mean, you know how easy it is to do this under the table? Like, especially if you come from where you're already on property, like, what you got to show taxes for? People just do this shit under the table. You know, that's kind of like the old school way of things. But now it's more of a business. It's not a it's not a basement hobby. It's not just oh my God, look at that guy with long hair and all those snakes. It's not that no more. This is a big time, multi-billion-dollar business. Like, think about all the money from all the species all around the world being put into this. It's fucking ginormous. So it's not to take lightly. And I love that we're talking on the business side of things, because you want to talk longevity. Longevities, it's all about longevity, bro. And if you don't got this business mindset, you know, there's a chance you might not be in this as a business for long, you know?
Absolutely. We actually, when we first really got rocking and rolling, we probably were going 3 years strong, and it was finally like a legitimate full business, but we were really hanging on to those jobs. And we would, you know, you start to question yourself. You start to set that bar and say, hey, we're going to make this amount. And when we make this amount, we're going to walk away from our previous careers and focus on this. You make that, you attain that value, and you keep working, and you set a new goal, and then you make that goal, and then you set a new goal. So you're sitting there chasing your tail. And then we just said, you know what, that's it. We got to walk, you know, and we finally made that leap. And come to find out, when you finally make that leap, we, at those points when we were questioning ourselves, we really held ourselves back. We could have been so much further ahead than what we are now.
Absolutely.
If we would have just,
if we hadn't hesitated,
just went.
I think hesitation can kill you.
I mean, listen, being in your own head will kill you. That's the thing. Overthinking, not just letting, you know, I got to say, shouts on my Patreon members, the Discord, you know, I do have a lot of, you know, first and up and coming breeders who are experiencing their first clutch and stuff like that. And a lot of them are like, well, hey man, like, they pipped on day 55 and they're not out the egg. Am I doing something wrong? And it's like, yo, bro, this is fucking Mother Nature, bro. You, first off, you need to chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not that you're doing anything. It's like, it's that in anticipation, like, am I doing something wrong? It's just always like, am I doing something? It's like, no, motherfucker, this is just the way it works. People just need to just relax. Like, just relax, trust the process. And guess what? If it comes out and dies, it comes out and dies. It's going to happen. Like, and a lot of people can't take that kind of reality in this shit. And that's, you know, and that's why, like, I love the ball python game. You don't see a lot of that. Like if you are constantly getting dead ball python in the clutches, you should not be doing ball pythons. You shouldn't be breeding. I'm sorry. If you can't breed ball pythons, you shouldn't breed any reptile. Fucking period. Stick to rock collecting. There's so many other things you can do. I'm telling, no disrespect. I'm being real. It's so many different things that you can do. I'm curious though, because I've never had my hands in the Gecko, Crested Gecko breeding projects. How hard is it to get going? And what I mean by that, let's say you invested in a group of like 4 females and 2 males, right? And they're babies. How long until you feel like those are going to be established and big enough to put together? And then what's the process as far as the eggs and all that stuff goes? I'm curious.
Okay, so with babies, from egg hatching babies to ready to breed is typically 2 to 3 years. You know, your males, they need to be somewhere between 45 grams to even start. Your females, they need to be a bit bigger. 45, 50, 55 grams. That's usually where we roll with ours. And as far as eggs, you pair them, and literally 30 to 45 days later, you're getting fertile eggs. Yeah. If it was successful. And then you're getting 2 eggs per clutch every 30 to 45 days. So technically you're getting around about in your first actual breeding season, you're getting anywhere from 8 to probably 12 eggs. So you're probably averaging about 10, per female. So if you get 4 females with 1 male, you're getting 40 eggs
Yeah,
So,
typically. Yeah.
typically.
Are you guys typically putting one male to multiple females, or is it one and
So
one, or how's that going for you guys?
This is what I was going to say with that. So what ends up happening, when I'm sure it's just the same as in the snakes, but when you start experimenting and educating yourself on how things are done, and you're looking at the breeding standards, you try to look at ways that you can improve upon that.
Right.
Or what you believe is improving upon that. So the way we do things, we do everything 1-to-1. Typically, breeders do breeding groups typically. So say if a male has 4 females, they'll put them in a adequate enclosure to house 4 females and a male, put a couple lay boxes in, and they'll keep going in and just recovering eggs. We don't do it that way. The way we do it is if our male has 5 females, we'll weigh our male come breeding season and put them inside with female 1 for a week. And then that following week, we'll take him out, weigh him, make sure he's either at the same weight or gaining weight, and then move him to female 2. Once he's done with that 5-week cycle, we bring him back to female 1 and start the cycle over. As long as his weight stays the same or he continues to gain weight, we keep him in his cycle. Now, we do that up until the point we start recovering fertile eggs from females. And when we recover fertile eggs from said females, we start skipping those females until he's pretty much recovering fertile eggs from all of them.
And that allows us to make sure we understand and know which female is laying what babies. And we can keep our lineage absolutely correct. We want to do like a pedigree of sorts.
That's important to you guys, right? Obviously.
It's very important because... And this is just what we believe, our opinion. Crested geckos are almost identical to ball pythons as far as genetics. The big difference is they went so many years with people just pairing gecko to gecko to gecko. It was 250 geckos imported way back when, 20 something years ago. And it's basically a melting pot of genetics involved. Imagine an import coming in from Africa, ball python, and you're trying to figure out what's het or, visual, whatever the case may be, or codon. So now we have it to a science where, hey, if this is our Harlequin group, or this is our Phantom group, or our Xanthic group, now we can actually pinpoint if something pops up in our collection, where it came from exactly. And then we can kind of fine tune things and breed accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that being said, I like how you mentioned real similar to the ball python game. So what's the holdback game for you guys like? I mean,
100%.
So the growth wise, so these guys, we're finding that since we're dealing with such a high level of quality in pretty much all of our geckos, they change so drastically from fresh out of the egg to about 20 grams. We actually, which is another reason why we went with the facility, we actually hold back everything, to 15, 20 grams before we even make a decision on what's actually a leap further than the parents before, or taking that line or that program to the next generation.
Exactly.
So we just don't want to be shocked, because we've learned from our mistakes where we've sold things younger, and we answer messages from customers and people all the time. They'll send us a picture, say, hey, check out this gecko. And we're like, wow, that gecko's amazing. Who you get it from? You, homie. I'm like, we're like, no.
Oops.
Yeah. So
now I can tell you what, this is probably one opposite from the ball python game and the gecko game. I feel like personally, now I can't say this might be for everything that the future holds with the morphs and the ball pythons, but I feel like how that snake looks like ball python wise after its first or second shed, that's its best it's gonna fucking look. And like that's like the prime time. I mean, like I don't get me wrong, the future with ball pythons is the older they get, they're looking good still, because of the double recessives and the way things are. Back then, things just got ugly. Things just fucking whatever they look like out of the egg, like 2 years later, either washed out or not the same, right?
They definitely have some differences. For example, like I know in the ball python game, you have, with a lot of different genes, you have like het markers and things like that. Yeah. So far, marks. I mean, we're not really seeing any het markers. Some tried and true het markers when it comes to the recessive genes.
We can look, and somebody who's dealt with a specific gene like xanthic or cap or whatever, you can kind of look at them and have an educated guess, but there are no like 100%, oh, that's a marker for this or that's a marker for that. Like I've got a 66% hit right now down there that's breeding that I truly believe it's 100% hit just by the way it looks.
So meaning you're basically saying if you're smart out there, you would always, especially if you're working with this high end shit, you want to hold on to that until it's big enough so you could determine what direction it's going to go. Because, like you said, the lineage of your projects are everything, right? Because you never know what you might be handing off to somebody, and especially when that person realizes it, good luck trying to buy it back. Like some people are just like, nope,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, so I feel like that's very important. Like the Chondro game, like the emeralds, like this stuff right here, like, a lot of this designer stuff, it looks pretty sick. They either look red or yellow, but different shades of red, right? But you really don't know what direction this Chondro is going to look until after 2 years. Like 2 years,
wow.
you have to wait. Yeah, it's wild. Sometimes after a year you could see, but dude, there's so much color change and transitioning going on with the Chondro throughout its whole first 10 years of its life. They just keep going in a different direction. So the holdback thing, I feel like what we're talking about here is very important. I mean, you don't
It's
want
definitely
to
important.
You don't want to just be in a position where you're just selling things as soon as they're eating and ready to go.
Absolutely, because we breed for ourselves. Number
Right.
one, we want to keep the best and produce the best of the best of the best. And then when you're dealing with certain expressions of certain traits, not only genes. Okay, this is this gene, but then you're having a high expression, like with lily white. You got a high expression lily. You got a low expression lily. It doesn't always mean quality. Somebody else may love low expression lily whites. We love high expression lily whites. But if you're not really gonna know which is which completely until they get them some size on them, and then you know what direction they're going in.
All right, let's talk about a direction of heat. The Crested Gecko game is going in. I mean, you want to talk about similarities with the ball python? Let's talk about a motherfucker who hates on somebody making really good money in the ball python game. The one who complains about all the morphs. That's either somebody who ain't never seen ball python money before, or they ain't never touched money, period. So God bless them. I understand them. Let's talk about some talk. Man, I'm not gonna lie. Some of these people are now, they're not identical to the same people, but there are people out there saying, "Oh, that's bullshit. 400K at a show, like within 20. Like, what's the story? What's the background?" And so I want to know more about what happened in Vegas. I think a lot of people want to know what the details are with this big time sales that went down in Vegas, from what you guys know.
So this is the way everything works. Brian at Altitude and Flawless, everybody know we go hand in hand. We're family. We started out in a business relationship years ago. We vacation together, we party together, we hang out together. We're family. That being said, when he announced, hey, he's thinking about coming out and doing a show. He hasn't did a show in about 8 years. We've been only doing shows. Literally, we've been full time, and we only been doing shows for 11 months.
Yeah,
we did our first show ever next to Bob Vu in Fort Mill at a Show Me Snake show back in last November.
Yeah,
was
it November?
And it was November. So we did that show, and that was it. But after networking and talking with Altitude, he was asking about what he was going to do, what he was going to produce. So we worked hand in hand on a few projects, and what ended up happening, we set the date for Super Show in Vegas.
Yes.
The goal for that was we had about a 2 to 3 month lead up time. When I tell you these Crested Geckos are highly sought after, we get inboxes almost on a daily, whether it's about high white extremes or Exantics or empty backs. And he's bigger than even we are. So I'm sure he gets even more messages. He actually has a paid pretty much assistant that answers all his messages. We still answer ours. So that tells you what level he's on. So
I can't wait for that day, bro. Like, I mean, the day where I don't need to fucking respond to people. Oh my God.
See, we love it.
We love it. We love it.
We love it. We stay in touch. We stay in tune with it. So we have on a normal basis, we have basically about, maybe 20 different Korean, Canada, Taiwan buyers on a regular basis.
Spanish.
I would say, Spain. Altitude, Brian probably has double that.
Yeah.
Now, what ended up happening, we reach out to our contacts. He reaches out to his contacts, and we start promoting for the show. Just like Rami at the Super Show will promote for his own show. And we tell people, listen, we're going to offer, everything, the highest quality of this and that. But guess what, guys? Yeah, we're online. We've been an online predominant company for the last, 5 years. But guess what? You got to come to this show in person. We're going to give show prices. We're going to do this. So we network, put that whole plan together with Brian. And next thing you know, he reached out to his contact. We reached out to our contacts. We were actually screenshotting our communication back and forth between Brian and us. And we were able to successfully schedule out this whole show where out of everybody that was contacted, what ended up happening was our actual Korean side importer. So the person that's on the ground in Korea was able to actually fly out as well. So he's the person who basically receives the orders first and then disperses it to their customers. So him, along with 15 Korean, buyers and breeders out there.
Bro, they were running to the table.
It was hilarious. Like,
well,
it
the
was
reason
crazy.
they were running to the table because
Friday night, we went to dinner with them, and they wanted to actually see. They were like, "Hey, can we see what's no? This is the show. You're coming to the show to purchase these, so it has to be equal opportunities."
So that's dealing with the integrity side of things. When people question, our integrity and stuff like, "Oh, these deals was made previous." It wasn't previously made. If that's the case, nobody will be running up to the booth. We wouldn't be walking out with a freaking 60-pound safe,
it was a stampede.
But the thing about it was they run out there, so they can make their purchases. We had people that were in the States, that flew out. They were able to secure some Xantics and had Xantics.
Well, see, what's so great about it is, yes, they all ran to the table and they picked up whatever they wanted from Brian and us and all that. And at first, we had some breeders there, I believe, that just were kind of upset about being placed beside us, whatever. But by the end of it, they were coming by. Thank you for bringing these people out here, because not only did they come and spend $400K with you guys, but then they took off and spent 5, 6, 7,000 with somebody else too. So it was it's good for the whole industry.
Actually, you and I were joking. We seen one of our good friends from Korea. We finally met him in person, but the guy in the all blue Louis suit with the Louis bag on his chest. I mean, dude, he was fired, killing it, man.
And then the other ones had the Joy from Namhong and Joy. She had on her Balenciaga bag. And
they looked amazing, but they had fun, and this was their first time coming to the States. So it's that's what we want to do for the industry. We want to raise the bar, change how things are done, and strategically do shows. Not necessarily do every show, but when we put on a show, when we go to a show, we want it to be a whole movie. We want it to be a whole vibe. That's what we striving for.
And if you really want to talk about movies based, movies are memory. You create memories off any movie you watch, right? And if you want to talk about, regardless of what you want to say about the Las Vegas Super Show, that's something that's never happened at any show I've been at. I can tell you that so far, and all because this guy Brian happened to pop up and pull up after so many years of not doing it, and you guys are attached to that. What a place to be a part. I'm glad I was there for that. Are you fucking kidding me? Because
they were still talking about it at Reptilian Nation.
We're talking about right now. Listen, I'll tell you after the show, but I am starting a new segment with somebody who I highly look up to. This motherfucker, he might take me on the podcast game. I'm not joking. This motherfucker is that legendary. And he highly respects the shit out of you two. And he was kind of bummed out. He's like, dude, I wanted to talk to Will about that thing. And I'm like, bro, you didn't tell me, dog. What do you mean?
Is it David? Dave?
Stop. Will, you're being too much of a fed right now. You need to stop.
No, you narc. What you doing?
Audra, please.
Hello. He just said, I'll tell you after the show.
But that the guy Bradley who you're talking about is that guy is, I'm telling you, that story as of now is still being talked about. They want answers. People want to know more confirmation. And I can tell you what, time is in the essence. I mean, that time will tell if that was just a fluke. I don't think so, because we're talking about you guys wanting to vend shows. And unfortunately, it's unfortunate, but fortunately, next week, Tinley, you guys are going, but you're not vending, but you guys will be in the building. And I want to talk about how important and still exciting it is to go to a place like Tinley. By the way, shout out to the sponsor, NARBC, Bob Ashley, Brian Potter. The Super Bowl Reptile show is going down next weekend. Are you going? Be ready for that. But you guys, I'm telling you about wanting to market in such a great show. I mean, I think it's a good thing that you're not vending this show. I feel like you should be able to get out there and just scope the whole floor and just do your thing. I'm gonna shut the window, but how do you guys feel about Tinley next week?
We're excited. We've actually had a couple people that have offered to, let us sublease tables or whatnot. And we've actually, turned it down because as much as we are super appreciative of that and we would love to do it, again, we want this to be a vibe. Like we want it. It's a mission. It's a flawless, like,
we have a standard on how we do things.
When we come, we want to come all the way, 100%, everything
on their site, being promoted along with everyone else, all the way to the lead up, all the way to the branding, huge displays, tons of animals. We did Schaumburg. We had over 200 animals on our table, the best that we have to offer. That's the vibe that we want to bring.
Mm-hmm. And that's just something that from the very beginning, we eat, we drink, we breathe, we bleed this brand.
Even down to the auctions. We did a US ARC auction. We donated a $6,000 gecko.
Yeah, one that we would
and
we
we
put
do
on our
donations
site for $6,000.
even besides that. But because we support US ARC. But that's what we want to bring to the table.
Now, I love, I feel like standards is something you guys are holding high when it comes to whatever it is that you guys are doing, and that should be the standard for any brand. Hello, like, it's your brand. Like, why wouldn't you want any, like think about a restaurant. Like, one of the scariest things about I remember thinking about this as a kid, right? Because I love food. I still love food. But I remember there was always, my sister used to joke like, oh, this is a B grade restaurant, like it's B grade. And I used to go, what? And I used to always go look for the A. And like, I remember as like not Hell's Kitchen, but the Gordon Ramsay shows, like the shit where he would go fucking destroy people's restaurants. I was like, I will never own a restaurant just to never have to get a B. If I ever got a B grading in anything, like, fuck the academics. I'll C average.
Oh no.
But listen, I'm talking about when it comes to food, that's like, and just like my snakes. Do you think I want to have a B fucking grade on my snakes?
Right.
Ever? Like, I will die. But think the food though, like, you know what I mean? So I was always if you love something, hold it as high as you love it. You know what I'm saying? And the standard's everything, like the brand is everything. And dude, it changed me as a person. When I actually had my own brand, it's fucking crazy. I DJ'd for over 10 years. I didn't even realize I had a brand then. And I think I did. But I just didn't care. I was a partier. I sold drugs. I did everything. Like my life was just not where it should have been, but I thought I was on the right path. But I didn't care about my actual brand until I started working with something that I loved. Now, like, I look after people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hook people up. US ARC, gold member, all day, every day. I don't fuck around. I want to support because it supports this. Like, this is something where you can't do by yourself. You need other people. We need each other. All right? Like, we are better together than against each other because there's so many fucked up people out there who just don't understand this and they don't want this. They want to take it away. Like, imagine that. Like, let's talk about you guys being, in the law enforcement field, and the idea of these animals being ripped away from you. Like, we talk about the reality of you even thinking of that being possible. Like, let's talk about you guys being where you're from as far as your work experience. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think they would have a hard time really doing it. As far as going in homes and actually implementing something like that. I nearly impossible to really, do something like that. But even with doing that job, you learn to deal with, I guess, different personalities. That's why we support US ARC. I mean, every year, gold members, same way, but as far as dealing with people, like everyone, even in the comments, anyone who's dealt with us, we're nothing but positive. If we don't have something positive to bring to the hobby, the industry, then we shouldn't be doing what we're doing. Everyone that's dealt with us or who's had contact with us, that's what they know us to be, nothing but positive. So if you hold, like I said, you raise that bar every single time, that whether it's a customer interaction, whether it's just a person or in the hobby as a whole, we don't have any drama going on. We don't have any clicks. We love everyone, and we need more of that. It's too many groups, we all in this together.
We refuse to, involve ourselves
Absolutely.
in anything that has
anything to do with negativity,
any attachment to
I love
negativity or drama. We
So
refuse.
So has there been any times in the either, no matter what game in the reptile industry, has there ever been a time where you had to stiff arm or fucking Heisman some drama or negativity? Do you ever felt like you were sensing it and you said, okay, we're not going this way? Like, I mean, let's talk about, because here's the reality. Not everyone is successful, but more importantly is happy doing this. And they do have a following, and then they also put thoughts and shit. I'm curious, how much of that have you experienced of the negative side of the hobby? Have you even seen any of that stuff yet? Or has everyone literally that you've met has been people you are friends with and like it's all fucking, rainbows and unicorns?
So I guess the best way to put that is we see everything. Okay. We observe, we sit back, we watch it all. So we know a lot of everything, anything that's on your Facebook, your social medias, we've seen it, we know what's going on with it, but we distance ourselves as far as
if we can't
just
help
not
the
talking,
situation or be positive about
anything.
it, you just kind of keep it moving. And I think it also benefits us to how we got in the hobby altogether. And what I mean by that, we kind of did it backwards. It was perfect for us, but we did it backwards. We didn't know anyone in the game.
No.
We weren't at, every show. We weren't, trying to do show after show after show at that time. We legitimately were pushing for an online business, a self-sufficient online business, which was like unheard of to do it, initially. So we did it literally 100% online. We could have probably went online and not do any shows, but that wasn't the goal. We want to be able to do shows to put on the display and show you what we're working with. Yeah. We do shows even in a sense of now differently than anyone else. And we mean that, with being humble. We do shows to go out and meet our customers or potential customers or meet and greet people. It's not strictly just to make the money, because honestly, in the Crested Gecko game, typically you're not going to make, ball python money even at a show. It's going to be rare, those rare, Vegas situations or Reptilian Nation. The more you're known and can get out there and promote and market yourself, the better you'll do across the board.
It's all about reach. But I guess going back to that, some of the negativity that we have seen has been not just online, but, we've heard people say, oh, this was a horrible show or this, that, or the third. And we just, whereas we understand that concept, we just don't add to it, because why kick a dog when he's down? Right. So, and
exactly. They're already going through it. That's the thing too. Like I used to, man, you want to talk about some truth here. I was, man, anytime I was mad or snapping at somebody, I was fucked up myself. I was just, I just never really knew it until now, because now I know if I feel mad or if I feel upset or if I want to snap at my wife, it's because I'm mad about something with the snakes. Like it's not her, so us humans have to know how to check that shit. It's not her fault.
You have to.
Yeah, you have to. And literally it's just, there's just levels to that shit, and honestly, I mean, my dad, I don't want to say my dad, I'm going to put you under the bus, Pops, but there's just people I know in this world that will just never change, and will still snap at your ass. And I could have been a part of that realm. I could have been a part of that shit that just never realized as a person on how to conserve and just be careful with how I choose how to respond and talk to people. I don't know. If you want to talk about one thing I just said recently on like 2 shows ago, one of the best things you can do in this game is just be a nice person, bro. Like be a nice person. It's crazy. And I don't mean that in a cornball fucking, because if anyone knows me, I'm not trying to say I'm not a nice person, but I could be a tough cookie. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie. But it's because I just don't, I feel like everyone has an agenda sometimes, especially I feel like there's something that you want. Like, what do you like? And I didn't even feel that from you or your wife, Will, at all. Like, I felt like we so naturally talked about something, and after we introduced, I remember before we even departed, like, hey, you're like, MJ, you might have something you might want to see, and that's how everything started. You know what I mean? And so,
absolutely.
First off, that's why I believe in going to shows, because organic relationships happen like that. And if you really want to become friends with somebody, especially somebody like me, it's more likely going to happen at a show, not over fucking the internet. I don't put much love. I'm a cold. I may seem cold, but I don't. if I don't know you, I'm more likely going to probably read your message and delete it. I don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
I got too much. I got too much.
See, but those are the connections. Those are the connections that you want to make at those shows. So that's gold. That's more than money.
That's exactly
for us
our
at
goal.
these shows. That's the exact goal. So, but it's also got to be in your business planning that way. It's not all about making money. It got to make sense. So that being said, I don't care if you're doing 10 shows. If you got 10 shows lined up, you should financially be prepared to make zero money at the next 10 shows. Because guess what? Those 10 shows are business write-offs for taxes, and it's better promotion, marketing, and advertisement to push your business along.
It's literally in our budget.
If you're looking for a show to make or break your bottom line, you're doing it wrong. So you got to get out there and meet the people.
This is why you got to go through the whole failure process. You have to fucking be broke. You have to go through these things.
Absolutely.
Because think about if you're somebody who got in. Let's think about somebody with the worst spending habits and should never fucking with no business maturity whatsoever, and then all of a sudden they get money right off the bat with their business. You think they're going to do right by that money? You think they're going to make smart
absolutely
money?
not.
No,
absolutely not.
Here's the thing. If you're failing it right away, that's a good thing. Because here's the thing, you're gonna fucking fail no matter what. I don't give a fuck how lucky you get, how good you go, something's gonna happen. Motherfucking, I've had the dreamiest keepers I look up to in this game have their facilities burnt down. You ain't ready for that type of reality.
Right.
Yeah.
I need a lighter. But I'm just saying, life. Sorry, my wife.
It's okay.
But life can hit
his ladder.
Yeah, life can hit you where you don't understand what the next step could be. You know what I'm saying? And with this business maturity talk that we're talking about here right now, this game has only brought more opportunities into my life. If you want to talk about one person I haven't even had to meet, but I already know what I should be doing, is somebody like Ozzy. You know what I'm saying? Ozzy's somebody where if you just listen to what the fuck he says, you could do you could make the right moves. And it's not just Ozzy. I've had plenty of other people on this show who are very business oriented. My boy Miguel Garcia, my fucking dog. That motherfucker, he came in, people hated him. I mean, let's be real. I love you, Ozzy, but Ozzy didn't like Miguel. He blocked Miguel in the beginning. So talk about drama, and it is what it is. This is 2017 shit. This is way this is when it was a power trip thing, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? But Miguel proved himself. Proved to be somebody who he's not a fucking one-hit wonder. He ain't here to fucking try to make money and dip. No, Miguel's here, still making an impact. He created a whole market in Mexico and is fucking taking over shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't deny it. So the information's out there, guys. I mean, this is great. I'm glad. I thought we were gonna be talking about fucking what's your favorite color gecko fucking talk this whole time. But no, you know what I mean? This is the shit that people need to hear because it's important. Because as much as I want people to live this kind of life and do what we do and go to shows and breed, you got to do the legwork, the hard work. And that's the CPA shit, be on top of your spendings, and guys, I just became a S Corp this year. And literally, I thought, okay, I became an S Corp because I want to buy a house. I want to help my wife prove income and be able to do that. She can't just do it on her own. House is fucking in Cali over $1 million. She ain't gonna be able to do that. You know what I mean? Right. So I need to be able to provide income. But I've been an S Corp for I don't know how long, and I really just have stuff on a bank account. Luckily my boy Clinton, who's my real estate agent, hooked me up with QuickBooks. I'm able to now I'm able to now pay myself a monthly salary. All this shit. It's crazy. It's nuts. But it's all important, and it's all gonna make my life easier when it comes to me having to show money whenever the time comes for this shit. It's so powerful. It's powerful. You just gotta know how to work it.
Education about that is everything.
But it's also people kind of exit stage left on those topics because it's not necessarily the fun part of it. No. You gotta do your legwork. You got to.
Well, because they just think they don't need to do it, until you are actually growing and you need something like a facility. Right. Yeah. And I'm curious, let's talk about production side of things. I want to talk about, because if you want to talk about one thing about the ball python game, the motherfuckers I respect the most in this game don't care what they need to hold back. Like my boy, Big Willie style, Will Moros, Royal Canadian Reptiles up in Canada, one of the heaviest hitters. One of the heaviest hitters in Canada. I've been to his collection, but the reason why he's at where he's at is because his holdback game, he never sold shit. Will does
Right.
not sell shit unless you're a Patreon member. Respect, but I'm just saying he does not sell shit. That's just how it goes. And he actually has another facility that he's building. So that's the way this thing goes. The more you hold back, eventually you're gonna need your own hatchling room. You're gonna need your own female room. What's it like with these crested geckos? Are we looking at multiple rooms at one point? Are we trying to expand to that point? Let's talk about the mass production side of it.
We have an open floor plan. So
Yes.
we got our facility built 16 foot wide, 50 foot long. We have 2 mini splits that control the heat as well as the cooling. We have a humidifier as well as a dehumidifier. We have everything set up and a smart setup so we can control everything from our phones no matter where we are in the world. So everything's Wi-Fi, internet based. We have cameras set up all inside, several cameras on the outside so we can monitor what's going on. We have our kids as employees right now. We're probably going to need an external part of the family coming in soon.
We have talks,
as an employee soon.
It's going to be in the next year.
Our enclosure are all rack systems. We custom built quite a few of them, and then we had a ton built for us. We went with JPM Reptilia on our hatchling racks, and then
top tier out of Raleigh,
North Carolina, with our 6-quart racks, and then we custom built 25 quart racks as well as 32-quart racks for our grow outs and breeders. So everything is literally custom, and then we have about 25% of the facility dedicated to ARS racks and black box cages racks for our ball pythons.
We house well over 2,000 geckos now, and that's probably maybe, I would say maybe not even half of what we are capable of.
We could probably max out somewhere around 6,000 geckos, but honestly we'll probably never have that many geckos. No. And we have
close to 100.
Yeah, it's like 100 ball pythons right now.
And there's the segue. There's the transition into the Flawless Exotics? Now,
Flawless Exotic Creations.
Here we go. And this is what I fucking love. Dude, you guys built a foundation off the Crested Geckos. God bless you. You did well, but you aren't done. You're looking for another branch. And here we are beginning a whole chapter with the ball pythons. Good for you. Let's talk about how it's been coming into the ball python game. How long has it been? When did you get into the ball python game?
11 months
ago.
11 months, 175 grand later. Here we are.
Tell me more.
Well,
I want to know.
So here's the thing. I was absolutely petrified with snakes, period, across the board.
Audra,
I know, right? I had a really bad experience when I was little with a boa constrictor that scared me, and no one took the time to kind of help me through that when I was little until I met him. Well, when I met him, it kind of changed, and he moved me into it slowly. At first I was like, hell no, we're not doing that. And Aaron, I'm like, no, if you see me running, you better run, because I've seen a snake. I will fight a man, but I will not
deal with a snake.
So Aaron Mathis from Black Diamond, he had a
huge,
I guess it's Burmese. It's a Burmese python, and he takes it to shows and let the kids take pictures. It's like the most docile snake ever. Yeah. And he actually held it with me under it too. And that was the first time since I was 7 years old that I actually willingly touched a snake. And so he had been, kind of coaxing me through it and talking to me and saying, this is this and this and this. And then
talking with Bob. Bob is a horrible influence. I talked to him I was at his house.
He's a horrible.
Bob,
he's a horrible
listen, everybody has their chess piece in a game. Bob Vu is a very heavy chess player in the ball python.
Yes. Oh, yeah. He's wonderful.
I have him on speed dial. He's walked me through a lot of stuff.
He's terrible, but he's wonderful.
It's not just because what he could provide or how much money he could take out your pocket. It's the kind of relationship he could give you. Like Bob can really fucking set you up for success. He is somebody that the ball python game, luckily we have, because all he's going to do is create a bunch of little mini Bob Vus. And that's what we need. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And shout out to Bob Vu.
The whole industry, it helps the whole industry when somebody has that kind of ability. I always say this: if you hang around with 5 bums chances are you're going to be the sixth one.
Right.
If you hang around with 5 millionaires, chances are you're going to be the sixth one. So you find those people that can teach you and help you get through things and help you learn different things that you're not so much comfortable with. And I mean, it just brings everyone up. And that's just what we believe. We believe that we can bring everyone up with us. So,
Right.
but that's pretty much how we got into it 11 months ago. He purchased the first one from Bob.
And then it was downhill from there.
Yeah.
So we started looking at the business aspect of it, because she got out of law enforcement first last October,
Yes.
and I left. My last day was in April. And it wasn't retired. We literally just walked away. So at that point, we started looking at a 3-year plan on how to even increase, leaving that on the table and walking away from that. So we looked at it. I love the ball pythons, but much like the Crested Geckos, I wanted to see how we can get into it and have fun with it at the same level that we're having fun with the Crested Geckos, but obviously on the highest level of quality. So I want to create stuff that hasn't necessarily been created yet, or there aren't too many out there.
You crack me up.
So what do? I jump up there, contact Dave Green, and I get a visual monsoon mail. Yeah. So that's how it started. And then I started getting into the clown pods and the voodoo gene from Bob, and
Ultramail,
double visuals, and it's just the list goes on and on. Stranger. I got a stranger directly from Roland in the Netherlands, imported them in.
And real quick, I want to help out any gecko, like any of your gecko followers are hearing all this ball python talk, and they're like, what are these guys saying? Every genetic that these motherfuckers are saying right there are the hottest hitters in the game. Like, these are all investment genetics. This is not a $300 Bell Blue Eye Lucy, none of this shit. No, this is the kind of shit that you need to kind of have if you want to be relevant in the ball python game. And I really challenge you to look up these fucking codoms and these recessives that these guys are dropping and go see what they're all about. But they're all the shit that you need. Everything you're saying is stuff that because understand, guys, my whole foundation, just like you know how the geckos work, it's the ball pythons. But the thing with here's the thing. I came into the ball python game. My quality of life was getting better, but it was still really bad. I hated my job. I had no money, bro. I came in this fucking shit. My wife I met my wife when I had 4 snakes that at that time I was just happy to have them in my life because I just wanted to be remembered of my childhood. I just wanted things to get me out of the fucking hole I was in, right? So I met her with 4 snakes, not being able to afford the 5th one, which was the pied, right? Because it was $400. And I remember staring at it for nights, and she would wake up like, "Are you still looking at that snake?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I just can't afford it. She's like, "Well, I'll buy it. You want me to buy it for you?" And I couldn't believe my girlfriend at that time, right? And any girl I used to be with, like, would probably, I was the one buying things for them. You know what I mean? Like, I never had this kind of bit of love ever. Not that I'm trying to say that money buys love, but goddamn, this shit fucking got me happy. I ain't gonna lie. So she bought me that pied, and it introduced me. It literally was like, okay, she's okay if I put whatever I'm happy with into the snakes, and that's was the very first step, bro. That's what it took, bro. But if it wasn't for that, I'm telling you right now, man, everybody needs that other half. I said right before we brought you in, it's cool when you meet somebody who's doing this on their own, but when they have another half, when they have somebody right next to them who's riding with them, it changes everything. Like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. We deal with that all the time. Absolutely. And then you always see it. They be like, "Oh, well, let me ask my wife if I can purchase." And we just don't hearing from them again. Yeah, we don't hear from them people. But for us, the way we do it, if she sees something she like, we get it. And every time I see something I want, I'm like, "Babe, this is what we just got." And she's like, "Cool." Okay. We just kind of roll with it. We got a plan and we execute.
Well, and it's crazy because I've never been able to like be in a relationship with a man who actually like is as strong as he is, as he is in his beliefs, and his, his mind is just amazing. His business mind is great. And so I trust him that he's not going to lead us into any direction that is going to hurt us. And he knows that he can rely on me to bring it up. Whatever I need to be bringing to the table, I'm there plus some.
Plus, it helps that the track record is there now. Now where we are, I mean, the track record is there. So
I want to make it very clear. My wife bought the fifth snake, but that was like, the other 200, the other 200.
I want to make it clear.
Yeah, I want to make it clear. This, my wife didn't buy all this. You know what I'm saying? She gave me that motivation. You know what I'm saying? And I had to prove myself. I did. There was a time and place where, I'm like, hey, baby, can you front me? Like, I just, you want to front me that rent for like 2 weeks? And she's like, motherfucker, like, did you just buy a snake? Like, what? What do you? And she was on my ass. And I'm talking about, like, not even married yet. Like, we're still boyfriend and girlfriend. And I just told her, like, listen, I'm this far away from this, and that, and I feel another thing too, like a lot of people who battle trying to get their spouse on board with the whole reptile thing, you got to tap them in. You got to let them know what's going on. I mean, you don't have to tell them, hey, let's study these morphs. No, show them the fucking potential income that could happen. Even though it's scary. First off, I feel like, hold on, let's rewind. Before you even show potential income, have a good amount first. Like here's the thing. Before I went to my wife and showed her what the potential shit is, I had already made a good amount of money. Like, let's just be clear. Yeah. So I already knew what the next year was going to bring. So I had my first year of, some of that good coin, and I still had my 9 to 5, but I had that taste of what the next, because if you're doing things right, as you guys know, every year is going to be better. Every year is going to be like, if you're doing things right, if you're not a purple shirt guy telling people not to invest in 5K snakes, you're going to be doing better every single year, okay? Put the dots together on that. But I'm just saying. So the thing is, I had to prove myself in every year. Once I went to my wife, that initial one, she wasn't like, oh, let me log into your PayPal. She was just like, okay, you have my attention. And that's all it took. And the rest is history. Here we are. Goddamn, 3.5 years later from that, and I'm still proving myself. Let's go.
Oh yeah, I get it. I get it. We were starting with 13 snakes. We're gonna do.
He said 10 to 15 tops.
You don't need a lot. Here's the thing: you don't need a lot.
No, but here it is. We have right at 100 now.
2 ARS racks in, 4 black box cages.
I kept saying, I'm gonna have to ban you from Morph Market, man.
I tell you, it's the funniest story. I tell you, and I think you probably deal with this too. Where she's sitting there, who you over there messaging? Who you over there talking to? I'm over there, rolled over looking at Morph Market. Middle of the night, you get up, go pee, come back, you're on Morph Market. Wake up in the morning, first thing, grab your phone, you're on Morph Market. So every single day, that's the facts of life. That's what you got to go with.
Yeah, I mean,
it's Morph Market. Morph Market.
It definitely, if you want to talk about me proving myself, about me doing the snake thing for my life, you want to talk about me proving I had to prove myself on why I'm on my phone too. Remember the time, listen, I mean, come on, we're about the same age. If not, what year were you guys born?
85.
85. Let's go. Oh, so I'm 85. So what are you, Brandon? Or not Brandon, excuse me. I don't know why I called you Brandon. My bad. Will, what are you, Will?
82.
Okay, 82. So remember the time when we had nothing to check? Remember when we were just at a movie or at a restaurant or in the car and we just had nothing to check. What a fucking time. Yeah. And I forget about that. I almost forget about how good it is just not to look at your phone sometimes. But it's amount of anxiety. Like I'm in a place, and I'm not trying to say this to be cocky, but if I put my phone down for like say half the day, I have a lot of shit to respond to, or and it could be anything as far as a guest I'm trying to bring on the show. It could be a sale, a Morph Market, a simple question. Goddamn Morph Market questions. Because
we get inquiries every single day.
Yes.
Several inquiries every single day.
I got motherfuckers who are like, and I don't know, I'm not. God damn it, man. I have people who are like, all right, sounds good. Do you take PayPal or Zelle? And I'll tell them, whatever. I'll take either or. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. And then it'll go by like nothing after that. And then he'll go, and then I'll go, I have another question. And that's fine. But I just want to be there to answer that, to hurry up and stuff. Like, can we fucking speed this up? And that's the thing. I don't like letting shit linger because motherfuckers, it's a tactic. People in Morph Market, if I'm not trying to say everyone needs to be pushy, but if you don't respond to their shit right away, they'll sleep on you, and they will not get your animal. So the more prompt you are on Morph Market, the more likely. You say that. Yeah, I'm telling you.
I preach that.
We've had it.
We literally respond. Like when you log on and we respond, I think our time is like 5 minutes of an email.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 minutes is our response time.
It's very important in the Crested Gecko world. I'm sure in the snake world too, where if somebody inquire about purchasing, something you have, you need to get back to them, because guess what? The amount of time that you kind of let it linger, they're gonna go to their second and third choice.
They've got money in their pocket.
Yeah, they got money burn a hole in their pocket. So they buy that second or third choice, and you finally get back to them. They already done blew their load already. They're done, and I mean, you kind of missed out on that sale.
See, for us, it worked out with us working those jobs at that particular time, because I was a night shifter street cop and he was a day shifter street cop. And so
we got literally to cover everything.
It was
and constant. Then even with the international stuff, they're messaging you and it's like 4 a.m. in the morning. So when they're getting message responses back like that, they're like, what's going on? And you making sales around the clock.
Yep.
Now let's talk about like what do you guys ever have plans traveling internationally at all? Like, do you ever feel like it's important to go back there?
We're actually making plans now. We're going to Korea next year in 2023. And we're actually bringing in the new year in Belize. So this year we're bringing in the new year in Belize. But we're going to Korea, and apparently we're like supposed to be like
it's funny.
Stars out there in Korea. So I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna go out there, go to some of the shows and stuff and see what it's all about.
Yeah,
so
they're so awesome. Like, I can't tell you how good these people are. Like, and they really support us.
Yeah, they call and ask you how you're doing, and you're having a communication barrier, but you could tell they're smiling ear to ear, not understanding everything that's being said, but it's about the animals, and they're trying to make sure that you're good.
We should do your guys' round 2 podcast in Korea.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be lovely.
Listen. Well, we find a Korean translator, and we get the most ballerest Korean fucking keepers in the game with you guys, and we just chopping it up. Oh my God, we going to Korea. Let's go.
I'm telling you. Damn. It's crazy.
Now,
it's crazy.
Okay, so overall, let's talk about how much you know so far with the Crested Geckos globally. What's your how do you feel globally about the ball pythons? Like, do you feel like it's the same potential?
Yes, I do. I think it moves at a slower rate. I think I made the comparison the other day. If you're talking about hobby versus hobby, industry versus industry, Crested Geckos being the number one, ball pythons will be like 1,000. So that's the size difference of I guess how you say niche.
The niche market.
The markets are. Because a lot of time, for example, and this is another reason why we do shows. You come, you see our display at a show and how we do things. We want to set the bar. A lot of the times you go to somebody else's table, you're looking at a ball python. And for the sake of the argument, we explain to all our customers, our followers, everyone, even our Patreon supporters, that we like, look, when you go to a reptile show, you're going to a snake show. It's essentially a snake show, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we're there to educate you on high-end Crested Geckos. We explain to you the care. Actually, when we went to Reptilian Nation, we had our sons actually run the booth the whole weekend. It wasn't about money. They literally had their whole spiel. They would educate people on the care and the needs of the Crested Geckos, how long they live. They would pull them out. They would show them, and I was just basically holding the camera, walking around, plugging in wherever they needed me. So it's kind of cool to implement that, entrepreneurship in your family, as well as trying to show young men how to look at people in their eyes, how to
be
strong. Yes, very public speaking, who knows? At the end of the day, it's a product, that we enjoy, but you never know what they may be as far as, raising up our kids in 20 years. They may own a Fortune 500 company, you never know where you're taking them to the next level. So it's very important for us. This is giving us so much freedom and enjoyment that, we kind of, we owe it to these animals to take care of them to the fullest of our potential, and
they've
just keep taking it to the next level.
The freedom. But I do think, I think that ball pythons, crested geckos. I don't think it really matters what species. I think it's just getting it to that person,
Right.
you know, getting that person to actually see wherever they're from.
Mhm.
You know, it's the reach. So I don't really think it matters what species it is.
Doesn't. You know, it's just like
Yeah.
anything else. You know, when you go to some of these the ball pythons that deal with some of these rare lines in big ways, you know, you come by our table, you start seeing, you know, crested geckos. Okay, well, you see crested geckos around, you know, and it's not to throw anyone under the bus. Everyone is doing the best they can with the programs they're working with. But then you come by our table and we're going to have the best of what we have to provide. And they're looking at it like, wow, I never even knew it came in these colors. You know, I never knew it came in these morphs. And, you know, they're starstruck, and then they're wanting to educate themselves right there on the spot.
No, we've had breeders at the shows that they wanted to buy from us so that they could do those things like with their programs and get into certain things that they may not have seen, you know, regularly, which is really cool. It's really awesome because that's what we kind of wanted. We wanted to be able to bring that level up across the board for everyone.
Yep, raise the bar.
Yeah, raise that bar. And I don't know, I just think it looks great for all of our reptile breeders and keepers to be able to progress and be able to have the same successes that we have.
Right.
If it's one thing I had like realized immediately after realizing that, okay, I can be in a position where I could breed a bunch of ball pythons and have a huge customer base.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I don't want that. What I mean by that is I don't want to be working with something where I have to deal with the general public, like meaning I have to haggle and deal with somebody about a $200-$300 snake, which that's fine if you're in that industry. But my goal is to create longevity keepers, right?
Mm-hmm.
This stuff behind me is the goal. Someday I hope I could just, you know, be very limited or minimum with the ball pythons, right? As far as because I don't need to worry about the money part so much, and I can worry about breeding stuff and putting them in the hands with the people who could get me whatever the fuck I want, and that's my goal with this. But at the end of the day, I'm 37 years old. I'm trying to start a family with my wife. It is about money. I am trying to make fucking money. I grind hard on this podcast because I'm trying to match my money, my ball python money on this. Am I even close to that with the podcast? No, not even a little bit. I make really good. I'm very blessed. I make very good money off the ball python game. The ball python game has been very good to me, but it's not something I want to rely on. I don't want to just sit on it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm doing what I got to do to put myself in a position for the worst. That being said, my whole grind and hustle behind taking care of these animals is pushing this podcast to where I'm making or it's sustaining enough for my life financially where I don't need to rely on the breeding part, because there's a thing that you can do. Like, let's think about, like, at the end of the day, bro, I want to have fun. I want to keep what I want to keep. Not that the ball pythons, I'm hatching shit with the ball pythons that I'm like, God damn, this is so sick. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, 6K sounds sick too. Here, take the, you know what I mean? Like, we can't keep everything. It is what it is, right? So I just want to be in a position to always have stuff in my grasp. That's my dream. I just want to have what I want to keep. That's it, right? So when you have powerful stuff like what's behind me, and you can basically trade for whatever you want. I want to be able to have stuff that I could build relationships with the most longevity type keepers in the game. People who are trying to write a book someday. You never know. I just want people who are really about this. I don't want the short timers. I don't want the people who are just, let me buy this and flip it real quick. I don't want none of that shit, bro. This shit saved my life. Like, this shit saved my life right here. And I want to continue that. And you know
your life it saved our life.
You have no idea.
That being said, not only my life, but other people's life. You know how many people, like, you know how many times I just said what I just said, and people have messaged me and said, MJ, you fucking hit home to me because this shit has changed everything. And that's the reality of it. So why not fucking treat it back the best way you can?
Absolutely.
I mean, goddamn, make your money. I'm making my money, but I'm also trying to see what kind of money I want to make. You know what I'm saying? And it brings you other opportunities. Take advantage of the opportunities. First and foremost.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. And we definitely preach on that, because I was just actually talking with Antoine at High Desert Pythons at the Vegas show, the same concept. And you know, you gotta get out of law enforcement and get into this. The public contact side is a cakewalk compared to police. I would rather do this rather than busting heads on a nightly basis in law enforcement any day.
Yeah.
I would rather do this any day, you know. So
I can only imagine
that law enforcement. I
Yeah.
mean, it's very hard. It's very difficult. It's very emotional. It's very
Yeah.
mentally stressful. It's physically stressful on your body. It's just like I still have problems with my hips from carrying that big lug belt and wearing that, you know, bullet resistant vest all night long, 12-hour shifts.
Right.
You know, it's just it's something that you get that public contact with those people when I'm sitting here having to fuss at grown adults because she touched his TV.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, this is the sperm that won.
Yeah.
Like this gene pool needs some chlorine in it, guys. Like, stop doing this crazy mess.
So we're just thankful to be completely out of that.
Yeah, like we're good. We can handle these people.
Issues,
these people are good people compared to like that stuff.
you know, I gotta say one thing. I'm very happy that the way my dad raised me is, you know, the thing about law enforcement, right? Like, regardless if you like them or not, you know, there's, for the most part, I've always had the experiences I've had with law enforcement because you just show them the kind of respect that they deserve. And what I mean by that is if they, you know, if they're asking you questions, you know, they're just somebody you just don't want to push. You don't want to push them against the wall and try to fucking go against what they're just simply asking you, because you don't know what kind of day they're having. And there's somebody who could really ruin your day. They could really ruin your day. You want to fuck with the wrong cop, they'll ruin your day. So I was always taught, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, officer, no, officer, whatever you got to do, officer. Just say what the fuck you got to say to go on with your day. A lot of people have this fucking chip on their shoulder, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the law enforcement, and they don't realize that they're talking to somebody who's probably just not happy. Think about when you walk into a Subway or a fucking, well, I wish Quiznos was still around, but like you walk into like a sandwich shop and you just got that employee who just like, the fuck, like, what the fuck do you want? You know what I mean? Like, not having a good day, but then you're used to the other employee who's like, what's going on? Oh my God, you want the number 7? You know what I'm like? You got people who just, they're human. Officers are all human. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you don't know what level they're at mentally. Just tell them what they want to hear.
Right.
Okay. It's yes, sir, no, sir. Have a good day. You know,
we agree with you on that. And I probably speaking for her as well. You still got to have a, you know, yes, we can't control everyone, but you still have to have a level of professionalism about you when you're working in law enforcement. So it shouldn't give them any excuse to stray away from that. But yes, you're right. We also teach our children, like, at the end of the day, if you do feel that something is being done wrong to you, you know, live to complain about it another day. Don't stand on something and die on something there in the spot, when we can definitely take proper, you know, actions accordingly, you know, following up upon that after the fact.
And I always think it's demographically too. I'm from Southern California. Motherfuckers test the cops where I'm from. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I seen like a night that didn't have to go so bad, but because you had to go there, now look what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in San Diego. San Diego's a breeze compared to LA. You want to talk about LA? God damn. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think I can relate a little bit coming from Newark. So
and I don't know if you heard, I don't want to tell this story again because I just told it last night, but please go check out the episode with Juggernaut.
I seen it. Yeah.
The Philly episode.
Yeah.
And listen, like that, I was a position where like I got a mouth on me. You guys know I could talk, right? But I knew when to shut the fuck up. And I just took a deep breath and I was like, you do not want to go to Philly fucking jail. You don't want to go to county jail in Philly, motherfucker. That's the last place. And with your mom crying in the driving seat, like, what the fuck? You know, like, you just got to know your place. You just got to know your place sometimes. And because of my dad, you know, my dad was somebody, like, he told me the right things to do, but he always had a reason to bitch about it, right? Like, let's just say, like, he got pulled over by a cop and he, you know, whatever, we got let go. He's like, oh, you only pulled over because I'm Mexican. He pulled me over because I'm fucking dark. And I'm just like, wow, really? Like, I don't think so. But like, that was like his mentality. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, it's kind of like a second nature thing. It all depends how you're raised, where you're from. And where I'm from, like, my sister was gangster, bro. I'm the whitest one out of my family. The way I look, like, my last name Juarez, you know what I mean? I'm Mexican as fuck, but I look white. My sister Bianca, like, is one of the biggest ex-cholas back in my day. She used to fuck shit up. She used to bring me around some grown men. I used to be 12 years old around some 18-year-old gangsters. Like, what is happening? You know what I mean? And like, Yeah, I'm just
You know,
telling you, bro.
it's funny though, because on that topic, you know, it's definitely officers need more training.
Absolutely.
Being on and more, you know, adequate training pertaining to the environment you're working in. You know, that was my hardest thing for me to adapt to, even in 10 years, SWAT team leader, all that stuff.
Wow.
You know, getting into it, you know, I fought, you know, mixed martial arts, cage fighting, purple belt, jiu-jitsu, box, all that stuff. Right. That being said, I only say that because learning those things and wrestled and all state, and you learn that things become second nature to you.
Yeah.
So when you're dealing with aggression or any type of fighting situation, you're always going to resort to what you know. I've been wrote up plenty of times. You know, when you come to find out stuff that's common sense to you is not policy and procedure. You know, you as an officer, someone swings at you, you can't punch him in the face. Apparently that's deadly force. And you're like, what? No. But you got to learn. Yeah. So you got to learn, you know, the proper, but again, in being an overtraining of a lot of those officers, what I come to find is more difficult to instruct and teach a grown person at 30 years old getting into law enforcement, you know, how to defend themselves than it is to teach a child, you know, honestly. So, I mean, the odds are stacked against you, honestly.
Trust me, when I was learning that I mean, I took Brazilian jiu-jitsu, judo, and, you know, so forms of mixed martial arts in order to be able to go out there and make sure that
that's not the real answer. That's the real reason you learned all of that.
Because I didn't want to die.
What happened?
No, I told her.
You almost died. She almost died.
No. What happened was I was in law enforcement for 10 years. We kind of talked about this before, but when she got in law, because she was a dispatcher for 911, she was in law enforcement for 3 years.
I also did hair.
But the thing about it, when she got into law enforcement and me knowing, you know, the field, and here it is, we're a couple, we do everything together. I said, babe,
he laughed at me when I said,
you better go learn how to fight. And she like, what? I said, yeah, you're going to be walking around all black and blue around me. They think I'm beating your behind. Like, you going to learn how to fight. So that's why she went into classes.
And I did. And I took punches to my head and learned how to block real quick, and learn how to do things that were outside of what I was able to do. And there's not a lot of law enforcement officers that get out.
We had to do that at our expense.
Yeah, that was at my expense. I paid for those classes. I paid for private lessons to get my ass kicked on a regular basis so that I would learn how to kick some.
But amen. Some people just need to get their ass kicked. And let me tell you one thing. I came into this fucking industry with a big chip on my shoulder, wanting to fucking knock people out because I was exposed to a lot of fakeness and a lot of very confident texting through comments. You know, like people, it was very verbal. Let's just say that in the beginning. And where I'm from, you talk to, like, if you're talking this way, like, we are gonna do something about it. Like, but like, you know what I mean? Like, this is just me. This is just me like, you know, forgetting about my brand. Fuck the brand. I want to fuck this person up. I had so much of that. I had so much of that energy, right? And then finally, God bless my boy Lawrence Elsham, who's actually he's about to become a black belt this year in jiu-jitsu. God bless my homie.
Wow.
And he got me in a year ago in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And now, like, it's not like I like the whole, like, don't get me wrong, don't fucking test me, right? But I don't have that energy no more, man. Like, people need challenges. Like, you need to put your own challenges in your own life versus life putting challenges in your life. And what I mean by that, you fucking go train, you go put something in an uncomfortable position in your life every day and watch how you feel. And getting choked out, getting fucking arm barbed, getting flipped across the room by a fucking 18-year-old kid, like what the fuck? Like, I needed that shit. Are you kidding me?
Right.
But it humbled me because, motherfucker, it's not fun going to sleep. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's not.
He said I wasn't even tired.
Yeah, right. I was awake. No, but like, all I needed was just to let that energy out, and now I don't feel that way. Like, I'm just like, it's like you got somebody who's hyped up, because here's the thing. As you're growing, man, people are going to try to chip at you, man, like from left and right. Like, even me starting this new logo, I got people, oh, you're copying this, you're copying that. I had that idea. Whatever. I don't care. It seems like you like it. You know what I mean? But
it seems like you like it.
Yeah, it seems like you like it. But I'm just like, you know, like, there's always, whenever you make a next move, there's going to be somebody to question that move, somebody to motivate that move and somebody to fucking downplay that move.
Oh,
no
yeah,
matter
every
what,
time.
it's the move. You got to just keep it moving. You have to. No matter what anyone says or think, it's do what you want to do. And I feel like I love the fact that you guys are so established the way you are because it's your thing. It's nobody else's. Even though you got Brian as a support, you ain't fucking tailcoating that guy, bro. Like you got your own community.
It's funny you say that.
Thank you.
You also have to, and this is what I wish more people have. I was talking with a couple other breeders actually, because we talk with everyone, you know, and that exact statement is what you need. You could be in this hobby. You could be in ball pythons. We could be in ball pythons. And guess what? You may hate this gene. I may work with this gene. And for some reason, that means we can't even be friends. And I'm like, what? This don't make any sense. You know, so I don't understand that. So now in the hobby, like we know everybody, and everybody's doing their own thing. We may disagree on certain things. Brian and us, we disagree on some things, but we cool as ever. You know, I don't understand. We should be, as grown people, we should be able to disagree and professionally disagree when it comes to the industry, you know,
and
speak on it and move forward.
Let's still
you
be
know,
friends.
we should be able to educate each other on something that we potentially didn't know and be able to either learn from it or just agree to disagree and keep on with life. It just doesn't fundamentally make sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like the more you're in that type of position, the more you have the kind of right people around you. And what I mean by that, how do you think I have people in their feelings about certain guests I bring on this show? You think everyone fucking, and what I mean by that, my own friends, my own homies,
right? You
know, like I got people who don't all fuck with each other, but at the end of the day, I don't fuck with all your friends either. So it's, here's one thing that people love me for. I ain't here to be Mr. Like everyone. I'm not here to be you. Everyone should like me. No, we're human. I don't give a fuck. You could like me today, not like me tomorrow. But here's the thing. Go. I'm a bipolar motherfucker. I could not like I could switch up. It don't matter. Just do your thing.
She points at me.
No, that's me. I'm definitely bipolar.
Like people like it's kind of like let's just say tomorrow. Let's say tomorrow were to come happen and Brian, God forbid, not this were to happen, but Brian's like, hey guys, you know, I'm out of the game or I just don't want your support. I want to do my own thing. Do you think that's going to change anything what you guys have right now?
No. We got our own
nothing.
It's funny you say that. So I was leading up to this. This is what ended up happening before we even knew. We were just customers. We probably made 10 to 15 purchases from Brian just from his website. Never even really made contact with him and started talking through Messenger about a gene. Somehow we ended up getting his phone number. I started talking to him on the phone. Long story short, we done spent, you know, money with him, you know, so it wasn't a situation where, you know, we had to necessarily make a purchase, but we were inquiring about a specific project. What I was very fond of with Brian was the fact that when I inquired to him, because we were both working at that time, about business, I said, you know, you've been doing this for umpteen years. I said, you know, what's your opinion on somebody making a serious attempt to go full-time with this, you know, with this hobby, just go nothing but full-time, no part-time job doing anything else. And, you know, I respect him, you know, because he was truthful. He said, yeah, I don't think it's possible.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another point. Like we're still the closest of friends. That was years ago. And we took it and I asked him why, you know, he gave me explanations. I did all our checks and balances on what, you know, we had to add to the hobby or add to the industry, what we could take away from his conversation. And we made a conscious run at it, you know, and even years now later, he's like, I'm happy you guys did it.
Yeah.
And now he's like, you guys are pushing me to the next level. Yeah. You kind of, you know, woke a sleeping giant. So now he's trying to push his own brand to the next level.
Yeah.
And listen, guys, and if people don't understand what we're like, I don't think the human understands what we're capable of when we're put in that position. And at the end of the day, we were talking about the kind of training Petco employees need and officers need, right? That's training to do a better job. But what about training about being a better person, training to be a better human? You think the law enforcement wants to put that in you? You know what I mean? Like as far as that goes, no, because once you get smart, once you kind of you put things together, then that's when you know, the world is built for, no, excuse me, not the world. America is built for you not to do your own thing.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
America is built for you to have to be under a corporation ladder and you're just fucking sucking the dick to move up. You know what I mean? And I failed at that. I don't even like that. I'm into women. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, I couldn't do that. I was in sales. I was in sales for 12 years. I wrote my own paycheck. I didn't give a fuck. Right. You know what I'm saying? Once I became a manager, boom, I tanked. Everything went to shit. You know what I mean? But I got all the help I needed my whole life, bro. I have issues my whole life, bro. And a lot of people do. You know what I mean? But issues that not even my parents, my own family, nobody could give me but myself when I got my own brand. When I started doing my own thing, I started realizing what was damaging me, like what's holding me back. And it's me. I'm holding me back. Like I'm holding me back from fucking building relationships. I'm holding my back by just shutting the fuck up and letting these things breed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just
we had those same barriers because I'm so wrapped up in my head, and I often go off on my own, I guess, trail where I'm just taking us with us. I'll bring something to us, or we'll have an educated conversation about something. And in the past, she may be a little bit more wary or a little bit more hesitant. And I'm like, all right, well, cool, we're doing it, and, I make sure we get things done. But I also show her beforehand, like, look, this is the structure on how it can't do anything but work. And then slowly, and now it's to the point now, man, she don't hesitate on nothing now.
I don't hesitate on anything.
I mean, it's ridiculous now.
That's the thing, though. The fears for a lot of people are this. I have been sitting in my driveway after working one day. My one day was I literally drove out of my driveway and drove back in 59 and a half hours later, from job to dealing with a kid, to dealing with the gym, I literally didn't come home. I just took showers at the gym. So literally 59 and a half hours was my day, and I still was struggling to keep my power bill on. So I'm sitting in my driveway trying to figure out how I'm going to rob Peter to pay Paul to get the lights back on so I can actually get in my house, raise my garage door, and get in my house. And so the fear of failure, the fear of all of that will absolutely define who you are if you allow it to. And to be able to work through that and break through those fears is what you have to do. Right. You have to get outside of your own brain.
You that push.
Yeah.
Like, understand, like, having somebody to work out with. Good, like, you know what I mean? Having that person, I'm real shit. Like, here's the thing. Like, people, like, I know people who go to the gym and just waste their time. Like, they look exactly the same for fucking 5 years. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine because, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, there's certain things you have to do with your workouts to really transition your body. Like if you really want, and it also comes down to diet. But what I'm talking about, bro, like there's times like, I'm thinking times back when I worked out. I don't work out nearly as much anymore. I don't at all. I'm not gonna lie. I just do jiu-jitsu. But there were times where, like, when I was in the gym industry, I always had a trainer where like got me to do fucking like 5 more. And I'm like, oh my dude, if it wasn't for you, I don't think I would have been able to done that. You know what I'm saying? And just think about just what that little bit of a push does to your results. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I face that when in the personal training world, and Audra is actually the same way. She can drive and push to no end. I think I kind of get a little borderline crazy at the time. I'm the crazy one in the gym. I'm the one you walk in, I'm talking to myself in the mirror. I'm that guy. It's like self-motivation on level 1000.
But it's very motivational for me, for someone like me, especially. I enjoy the idea of a partner, of a 100% partner. And I think that's the one thing that I brought to him that I don't think anybody else has been able to bring to him, was that it's not me versus me. It's not him versus him. It's not him versus everybody. His back isn't against the wall. It's us. It's us. And it took him a while to allow me to be able to bring that out in him. And when we got on it together and we were committed in it, this is an us, this is a we thing, man, our success and our relationship and everything just skyrocketed. So that's the thing. Like he's able to motivate me in a way that I've never been motivated before. And I feel like I give that back to him. So it's just like the push and the pull.
You got your certain sayings out there, like one thing. Oh my God. I feel like this is one saying that, like, I'm sure a lot of people hate, but it is what it is. Right. But it is what it is.
I have a plaque in my living room that
it is what it is. Yep.
It is what it is.
And now you can do about it.
This one right here isn't more true than the fucking soul. Teamwork make the dream work. I'm telling you right now.
Cliche.
I'm just telling you, it's different when you have that other half. And
right.
God bless if you do. It's not everyone. I got people out there doing their own solo dolo thing. I'm just saying, it's just funner when you got someone to share it with. That's all I got to say. No big deal.
But the one thing about it is that the wrong one will bring you all the way down.
Heck yeah.
That's up to you. Like, listen, that's also comes down to you hanging out with the wrong people. There's people who, I don't want to say maybe they're tailcoating, but maybe they bought enough snakes from somebody where they feel like they need to be loyal, but they just don't really believe in their fucking views and who they are as a person. At the end of the day, people fucking show their true colors. You hang around so long enough. Yep. Someone, hang around long was that, and especially go meet them in person. You gotta understand, a lot of these people who have, I'm not name dropping anyone, but there's people out there who've been around long enough. They got the following that they got, but guess what? They never show their face, and they never fucking, you know what I mean? Because guess what? They're scared to show their face. There's something that they're not honest and happy about. Anyone else would be fucking on. I think about how happy it is when you get to meet with your own customers. Like, I fucking love that shit. And nothing makes me feel better, And so, I don't know. Listen, there's just so many different types of, I don't know, man. Standards should just be everything. I love how standards business was a big talk of what we talked about tonight, but it really represents on who you are. If you really have a huge high standard behind your brand, you don't need to explain who you are as an individual. You don't need to you don't need
it's self-explanatory.
Thank you. Look at Justin Kabelka. Like, when you meet Justin, you think you were even thinking about what kind of person he is? No, you're just fucking happy to shake his hand. You're like, God damn, you know what I mean? Are you kidding me? Like, what the fuck? So I don't know. It's just nuts. Now listen, I do have a wrap-up question here for you before we get into some hot seat questions.
Okay.
I was recently a part of an awesome event this year where I don't want to say a lot, but at least half my ball python homies are like, fuck Animal Con. I ain't going to that shit. But dude, let's talk about this shit that is global that you work with. How important is the YouTube game to your actual guys' game plan, to what you're trying to do? And also, what's your guys' thoughts on Animal Con? Do you feel like Animal Con is something for any reptile keeper to be a part of and try to expose themselves at? Let's talk about it.
I think so. I think we're probably going to be shooting to do Animal Con next time it comes around. We had issues all together with going down to Florida this year. And what I mean by issues is we just wanted to make sure that we had all our ducks in a row. We were shooting so hard to actually vend Tinley that we vended Schaumburg in hopes of talking with Bob and Brian Potter, which we did, and getting into Tinley. But down in Florida, you got to make sure you got everything together, all your permits, license, origin paperwork, and we wanted to make sure that they had our full attention. So
we just didn't have time.
We just didn't have the time to do it.
Go through the checklist of what all we needed.
We're going to be doing that moving forward for 23. But as far as YouTube, actually, we've been growing on YouTube, and we've been putting out consistent video.
We try.
Hold up. I know they could probably still hear us.
I can hear you. You're good.
So we've been putting out consistent video. We got to change cameras. But
no, you good?
Yeah, we're good. We just changed cameras to our webcam. The other camera died. But basically, we want to make sure that we continue to grow, because what we're finding is, probably much like you, when you put out these videos on YouTube, you're starting to create a video library where not only your customers, but people who don't even know who you are can go on the internet and locate you. And once they locate you, they start backlogging and binge watching all your videos and trying to find out the type of person you are, the type of business you are, and whether they want to do business with you or not. Right. So it's nothing but positives come from it. I don't see any negatives. So that's where we're pretty much going with it.
YouTube is across the board. If people don't do Instagram, if people don't do Facebook, if people don't do TikTok, if people don't do some of these others that are popping up, they usually do YouTube, because you can find anything on YouTube.
And we talk about it on our Patreon too, about doing YouTube, because we kind of tie it in, we do tie it into our family. And it's probably something you need to think about too, because you are already all over the internet. We look at it like this, because the response you get all the time is, I'm afraid to put the camera on me. You know, I'm afraid to get in front of that camera. You know, I'm camera shy. We don't really worry about it, you know, and the reason we don't worry about it because it's not that we don't care, but genuinely we don't care, you know.
It's because you're not ugly.
And we want to get that message out there, you know.
Oh my God.
But you know what? Even if you are ugly, it shouldn't matter because you want to get it out there.
Hey, listen. I want to be nice, but there's some ugly motherfuckers out there, and they just don't want. And like, but here's the look. But here's the thing. But look, okay, I'm about to spit some realness though. Like, think about how many actors or famous people who aren't fucking the best looking people, but they're still confident. Like, you gotta own confident. It. You gotta own it. Confidence.
But this
is
is where
everything.
you pass
Security
it
is
down.
everything.
You do these videos now, no matter what's going on visually with you. You do these videos now. You put out content. You put out the messages you want to put out, especially behind your business, you know, or whatever your following is or your interest is. And guess what? Neither one of us have any video recordings of our loved ones, my grandfather, her mom, you know,
and they're both
you know, but
gone
shoot,
this world.
60 years from now, they're going to have some type of database to pull up all these YouTube videos. Our kids can see us in our element. They can hear how we talk, how we present ourselves, our mannerisms. They get an actual catalog of different videos they can go back and reference to, you know, saying, hey, this is the man that my father was. This is the woman my mom was. So if that can't, you know, put a spark to you behind to kind of get behind that camera, I don't really know what could.
Yeah. So
I kind of feel bad, man, because listen, you know, it's like, you know, there's so many things that you hear as a child, and when I say child, I say like 5. Dude, I'm barely maturing. I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't like I'm very immature, okay, but like I'm trying to sit here that there's some ugly motherfuckers out there, and a lot of people are probably thinking like feature wise, and I do mean feature wise, but also like as who they are as a person. Like,
got you.
Like
that's a good save. That's a good save.
I meant both because I got homies, I got good friends out there who have fucking beautiful wives, and they're fucking not the most good looking guys out there, but they're just good people. Like, you know what I mean? And the way I see the relationship is not like a Hugh Hefner with the fucking blonde, like not that. It's not that. There's a genuine relationship involved, and that's why I feel like the whole looks, I feel like is like something anyone who feel like isn't. If anyone out there feels like they're not pretty or beautiful enough, they need to get the fuck over that. It's who you are as a person. Yes. I'm not trying to get cornball right now. I'm being dead serious.
But it's true.
I know I've met some people where I don't even look at their looks, but if we were to hear and judge, then okay, yeah, you're ugly. But I'm just saying, like, I don't see it because who you are as a person. And I feel like a lot of people should just believe in, like, let your inner beauty be your beauty. God damn, that sounds so fucking hallmarky, man. Damn. And I'm not trying to say myself, Will, don't fucking come on. That's fucked up.
I can hear it. I can literally hear it in my brain. No, it's true.
Will's a pistol. He's a problem. He's a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. He'll get
guys, you. I cannot wait. Listen, I got to say, first off, one of many rounds to come as far as you being on this show. This was one of the best Gecko guests I've ever had on. I feel like, you know, I don't ever really go 2 hours deep when it comes to talking geckos. I'm, you know, look, this is what I'm into, but still,
I feel you.
So much stuff to be dropped on this show. I love it, and I appreciate all the game, all the experience that you guys shared. But you guys aren't leaving that shit too easy. You got hot seat questions, okay?
Oh no,
we got hot seat questions for the flawless duo. Okay,
let's do it.
Now, what makes you flawless? I ain't gonna lie. What makes you flawless is not giving me an explanation on these hot seat questions. Just hit me with the answer. Do your best, okay? Do your best. But here we go. Hot seat questions. Flawless. Exotics. I mean, what should we go with right now? What do we? Flawless everything. Just flawless life.
Flawless everything.
Yeah, flawless everything.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Hot seat questions for the flawless coming in hot. You ready? Frozen thought or live?
Live.
Live.
I need you. Okay. A cut or no cut?
A cut.
A cut. Yeah.
Favorite gecko morph?
Exantic.
Least favorite gecko morph?
Flame.
Yeah, flame.
Number one gecko morph to invest in if you're a first time keeper?
Tiger.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that. One big not to do in the Crested gecko game?
Cut eggs.
Respect. On the contrary,
yes.
Respect. Okay.
Yeah.
How about red chondro neo or yellow chondro neo?
Red chondro.
Red.
Team red.
I like that. How about this? Talk about snakes on this one. Okay, it's snakes. Pre first shed meal or post first shed meal?
Post.
Agreed.
How about if it came down to you guys writing the law, like it's in your guys' hands? Yay imports, boo imports.
Yay imports.
Yay imports.
One reptile you would import to your collection anywhere around the world. Doesn't matter what the fuck it is. And if you had all the space, that's cool. What would it be?
I've got him.
He said, I already got him.
I already got him.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Are you speaking facts, woman? Are you for reals? There's not one dream speed. Like, come on. Let's think about the zoo books. Let's dive deep here. Let's go to Will. I want you to think a little more. I think you're capping. Will, tell me something, Will. I think she's capping. She could think of something. I know she can. Will, what you got?
I already got my unicorn.
Oh my God. We're talking reptiles, not fucking. We're not talking lovers. I get it. You guys are just.
Well, I guess I like the little leaf tail ones. Those, what is it?
Satanic
leaf tails.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought Will would say like Komodo dragon or some shit.
No.
You know?
Oh, hell no.
Hell no.
No.
So you're not into the scary shit.
No.
We don't even have any tokay geckos.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
And I'm considering getting rid of these leechies too.
That'll make you bleed too. Don't get it twisted.
Oh yeah.
All right, check this out. To miss the gecko or to not miss the gecko?
Not miss.
What about to miss the ball python or not or to miss the ball python or to not miss the ball python?
Not miss.
Okay. Yay sports or boo sports?
Yay sports.
Yay sports.
Favorite sport?
UFC, mixed martial arts.
Yeah, UFC.
Favorite UFC fight of all time?
Okay.
Let's go.
Go ahead.
I'll go first. Tito Ortiz.
No. I was just
versus
I'm gonna say
round 2.
Shamrock Tito.
Ooh, that's a good one. But yeah, I'm a Shamrock guy and Tito fucked him up. I hate Tito.
I'm a Tito guy.
I'm a little weird. I'm like completely off. I have two. So you probably be like, oh, she's a girl, whatever. I liked any Ronda Rousey fight just because she got women the spot. And that's my thing. But I also like the Anderson Silva fight where he got his shin like completely cut in half almost. Do you remember that?
I remember that fight.
I take that back. My favorite fight was when Ronda Rousey got knocked the fuck out by Holly.
I was gonna say that too.
Hey, no other woman would have been in the UFC if it hadn't been for her. So we gotta give it up.
I listen, I think she was at the right place in the right time.
Yeah.
The women, if you look at the women cards after Ronda, oh my gosh, she can't hang with these motherfuckers nowadays.
No,
you know
But
and to put it out there for the next time you talk to them too, we got a little wager going out there. We could facilitate some type of U.S. ARC auction where me and Antoine roll and and we both from North New Jersey.
Oh God!
I already put it out there, so we're gonna roll and we're gonna see if he really good.
I'm a white belt, God bless me, but I want to find somebody. I'll be the pre-card. I'll be the warm-up for you.
Let's do it.
I'll go with you.
Wants to roll. Let's go.
I'll do it with you.
No.
Look, he knows that's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
He
I
knows
am not
that's a
getting
lose-lose.
choked out. My wife chokes me out. That's it. Nobody else. I am not. God damn it. Why would you do that to me, Audra? Why would you do that to me right now? Now I look suspect now. God damn it.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Going back to the fucking hot seat question. I'm gonna save my ass. Big flexor, no flexor.
Big flexor.
Steak or fish?
Steak.
Van Halen or Sammy Hagar?
He has no idea who
I don't
they
even know
are.
what you're talking about.
All right, how about I rewind this? How about this? Wu-Tang or Tribe Called Quest?
Wu-Tang.
West Coast rapper, East Coast rap?
East Coast.
East Coast.
But what would be your favorite West Coast rapper? If you had one.
Y'all stole him from us. Tupac.
Yeah.
I mean, what Hollywood did. Technically, the acting was he chose to come to LA, but he definitely put LA. Dude, you know what's funny? You say that. Think about that shit. Like the reason what started the gangster rap, like NWA. I can't take away from NWA, but there was like it went flat for a bit, and then Tupac took that shit. You're right, and he came from the East Coast. But I'm a Wu-Tang guy to death, man. Wu-Tang, goddamn, that's my everything. Okay, going back. Here we go. Little word association. First thing to come to mind: milk.
Cereal.
Oh my God.
Say it, woman.
I can't.
Say it. Yes, you can. Say it. You got to say what you thought. You got to say what you thought.
Well, immediately, I don't know why it came to mind was titties. I don't know why. Like, why?
Yes, titties. Woo!
Why?
All right.
I don't know why. Oh God. Okay, next. Moving on.
Substrate.
Coco.
Yeah, Coco.
Favorite reptile show?
Tinley. No, I don't know.
Show me snakes.
Stuck shed.
Soak.
Hana.
Inbreeding.
Ew.
No.
First time ball python keeper.
Cool.
Fun.
FedEx shipping.
Sucks.
Morph market membership.
Platinum.
Yeah.
US art.
Awesome.
Gold.
Instagram trolls.
No association.
Screw them.
Not associated.
If you had to eliminate one crested gecko morph out of the game entirely, what would it be?
Fine.
What did you
Flame.
say?
Flame.
Flame. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is that like are you guys like against
It's
the
just
game?
very basic. It's
like your
nothing.
Petco
There's no
model.
pizzazz to it. You know, there's nothing really to it.
Yeah.
You're not homophobes or anything, right? I'm just kidding.
No.
That's terrible.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
Get over it. Let's go. Listen, I had an amazing 2 hours and 5 minutes with you two. I cannot wait to catch up. I'm about to see you guys next weekend at Tinley.
Oh yeah,
What the
you
fuck,
definitely
Tinley? Guys, Tinley, we get to start this again at Tinley in person. What a
Let's
time.
do it.
But listen, we had over 80 people tapped in for this episode at one point. What do you have to say to what do you have to say to everyone checking in, everyone supporting Flawless to the fullest? What do you have to say to all your supporters out there?
We could not be more grateful. You have no idea. It gives me chill bumps thinking about how many of you guys are part of our Flawless family, and we just appreciate it. We couldn't be Flawless without all of you guys supporting us.
Absolutely. And stay tuned. Watch the journey. We are not done yet. We are taking this thing to a whole nother level.
We are, and we're bringing every
Year
one of
after
you on
year.
our journey.
So stay tuned. The
Mhm.
best
I don't know
yet to come.
How many Fast and the Furiouses are there now? Like 6 or 7? You guys
Yes.
are like, this is one. This is Fast and the
Yeah.
Furious
Yes.
1. Think about
Hey.
how sick that episode was. Listen,
Oh,
thank you
yeah.
guys so much. I will check in. Get to Tinley safe and sound, and I will check in with you guys next week. But
Awesome.
that is a wrap for Audra and Will. Flawless Geckos, ladies and gentlemen.
Later. Appreciate you.
All right, bro. I'll check you guys next week. Have a good night. Okay, thank you.
All right, now later.
You too. Bye.
Woo! That was a fucking hot one, not gonna lie. I love it. Love the fucking chemistry. Loved everything about this episode. This was great. But guess what? Yeah, you know what? You're right, MKB. It is after party time. Shout out to my Patreon members. Patreon members, you already know what to do. Go to the post in the Patreon community page. Click into the Zoom after party link. It's Zoom after party time. But before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And if you do want to join the Trap Talk Patreon family and tap into this Zoom after party, go down the link below. Go join the Trap Talk Patreon family. As soon as you join, you'll see on the very first post the link to the Zoom session after party. It's going to be a great time. But yes, other than that, hit that subscribe button, guys. And then also drop a comment. Let me know what you guys liked best about this episode. Let me know if you're excited about the Gecko market. Let me know what you think about Tinley popping off next week. And then, guys, also tomorrow, this starts the week of an amazing fucking lineup of podcasts. This shit is not like, this is a great start. I'm not gonna lie, man. This is a great start because tomorrow we have a family who's been making a huge name for themselves after becoming a stamped approved franchise of Canova Reptiles. The Rice family tapping in with us tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. right here on the Trap Podcast YouTube channel. Make sure you go down to the link, set your reminder, and don't forget, it's going to go down. Guess what? You think that's hot? It don't stop. Guess what's happening Friday night? Live. And when I say live, I'm talking like fucking 20 feet in front of Bananas. Bananas is the most legendary bar that's attached to the hotel that's attached to Tinley and ARBC. A lot of legendary stories. Okay, I'm talking legendary stories at this bar. Well, guess what? I'm going to be set up Trap Talk right there in front of that bar with some fucking legendary goddamn showkeepers. I mean, these guys have been a part of the game for a while. Bob Vu, Dave Levison. Let's go. Are you guys ready for this goddamn duo live from Banana Bars going down Friday night? Whew. Goddamn, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be ready. And then, guys, can I also say I am also going to be going live direct from the show as well. It ain't going to stop. So we have Bob Vu and Dave Levinson. And then the next day, right there, you got your ticket to Tinley Park. Okay? If you're not going to be able to make it to Tinley Park, God bless you. If you got things that happen in your life and you just can't make it, well, you can make it by tapping into the episode Saturday, going down 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be epic. Cannot wait. Tap in. Thank you to everyone who tapped in tonight. I appreciate you, Patreon members. I'll see you guys right now, but that's a wrap for this episode. I'll check you guys next time. And I'm out. Thank you so much, Flawless. You guys are epic. Cheers.